U.S. military bases are shrouded in danger. In the heart of modern warfare, these strongholds hide more than just weaponry. Behind the gates, a perilous world unfolds. Stories of violence, accidents, and secrets create a haunting reality. What makes these places so treacherous? Let's delve into it. Number 1. Environmental contamination. Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Camp Lejeune, a sprawling Marine Corps base, is notorious for one of the worst cases of water contamination in U.S. history. From the 1950s to the 1980s, residents unknowingly drank water laced with industrial solvents, benzene, and other toxic chemicals. The consequences were dire. Thousands of Marines, their families, and civilian workers developed a range of serious health problems, including various cancers, neurological disorders, and birth defects in children born to those exposed. Legal battles ensued as victims sought justice, leading to the Camp Lejeune Families Act of 2012, which provided health care to those affected. Despite cleanup efforts, the area remains a stark reminder of the long-lasting impact of environmental neglect. The base's history of contamination underscores the hidden dangers lurking beneath the surface of many military installations. Even today, the water quality is under scrutiny, and the health of those exposed continues to be monitored, highlighting the ongoing repercussions of past negligence. Number 2. Local crime and violence. Okinawa, Japan. Okinawa, home to a significant U.S. military presence, has been marred by numerous incidents of crime and violence involving U.S. personnel. In 1995, the brutal rape of a 12-year-old Okinawan girl by 3 U.S. servicemen shocked the nation and ignited widespread protests. This incident severely strained U.S.-Japan relations and led to calls for the reduction of the U.S. military presence on the island. The crime was not an isolated event. Subsequent offenses, including assaults and drunk driving incidents, have continued to fuel local resentment. In response, the U.S. implemented stricter regulations and training to prevent such crimes. However, these measures have not completely alleviated the tensions, as the local population remains wary of the military presence. The Okinawa case highlights the social and cultural impact of U.S. bases on host communities, where crimes committed by military personnel can lead to significant diplomatic fallout and a deep sense of mistrust among residents. Number 3. Health risks to soldiers. Fort McClellan, Alabama. Fort McClellan, once a training ground for the U.S. Army, has a dark legacy of exposing soldiers to toxic chemicals. During training exercises, soldiers came into contact with harmful substances, including Agent Orange. Many veterans from Fort McClellan later suffered from severe health issues such as cancer, neurological disorders, and respiratory problems. The recognition of these health impacts led to the provision of Veterans Affairs, VA benefits for affected individuals. But the journey to secure these benefits was long and arduous. Efforts to clean up the site have been extensive, yet the shadow of contamination lingers. Former soldiers continue to advocate for more comprehensive health monitoring and support, highlighting the ongoing struggle faced by those who served there. Fort McClellan's story is a sobering reminder of the invisible hazards that military personnel can face, and the long-term health consequences that can arise from exposure to dangerous substances during their service. Number 4. Accidental explosions and chemical leaks. Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. Redstone Arsenal, a key center for missile and chemical weapon development, has a history marked by dangerous incidents. In 1950, a massive explosion rocked the arsenal, killing several workers and causing extensive damage. This tragic event highlighted the inherent dangers of handling explosive materials. Over the years, Redstone Arsenal has seen numerous chemical leaks involving hazardous materials such as chlorine and sulfuric acid. These leaks have posed significant risks to both the environment and the health of nearby residents. The environmental impact has been severe, with local water supplies and soil contamination causing long-term health risks for the surrounding community. Despite extensive safety overhauls and cleanup efforts, the arsenal remains a symbol of the dangers associated with military research and development. Redstone Arsenal serves as a chilling example of how accidents and negligence can lead to catastrophic outcomes, affecting both military personnel and civilians alike. The ongoing concerns about chemical handling highlight the need for stringent safety measures and continuous monitoring. Number 5. Impact on indigenous communities. Pine Ridge Reservation, South Dakota. The Pine Ridge Reservation, home to the Oglala Lakota people, has a painful history intertwined with the U.S. military. During World War II, the military used parts of the reservation as a bombing range, known as the Badlands Bombing Range. This appropriation of land displaced indigenous communities, depriving them of access to traditional lands and resources. The area remains littered with unexploded ordnance, posing a continuous threat to residents, particularly children who might stumble upon these deadly remnants. The cultural and spiritual impacts have been profound. The disruption of traditional lands has led to a loss of cultural practices and a deep sense of injustice among the Lakota people. Efforts to clear the land of unexploded ordnance are ongoing, but the scars of displacement and cultural loss remain. The Pine Ridge Reservation's experience highlights the broader issue of how military activities can infringe upon the rights and well-being of indigenous communities, leaving a legacy of danger and disruption that persists across generations. Number 6. Noise pollution and mental health. Naval Air Station, Key West, Florida. Naval Air Station, Key West is a vital training facility for the U.S. Navy, but its operations have had significant repercussions for the local community. Frequent training exercises involving loud military jets have resulted in severe noise pollution, affecting the lives of nearby residents. The constant roar of jet engines has led to numerous health issues, including stress, sleep disturbances, and other related ailments. For many, the persistent noise has become an unavoidable part of daily life, contributing to a decline in mental health and quality of life. Tensions between the military and local residents have been ongoing, with numerous calls for better noise management practices. Some mitigation efforts, such as soundproofing homes and altering flight paths, have been implemented with varying degrees of success. Naval Air Station Key West illustrates how military operations can disrupt the peace and tranquility of local communities, leading to long-term health and psychological impacts. The challenge of balancing military needs with community well-being remains a contentious issue. Number 7. Economic displacement. Vieques, Puerto Rico. For decades, the small island of Vieques in Puerto Rico was used by the U.S. Navy as a bombing range and weapons testing ground. This military activity severely hindered local economic development, particularly in tourism and fishing, which were vital to the island's economy. The presence of the military base led to significant environmental damage, including contamination of the land and sea. The resulting economic impact was devastating, as residents struggled with the loss of income and the destruction of their natural resources. Persistent protests by residents and activists eventually led to the Navy's withdrawal in 2003, but the island is still grappling with the aftermath. Efforts to promote sustainable development and clean up the environmental damage are ongoing, but the road to recovery is long. Vieques serves as a powerful example of how military bases can disrupt local economies and environments, leaving lasting scars on the communities they are meant to protect. The struggle for economic recovery and environmental restoration continues to this day. Number 8. Health and safety violations. Fort Detrick, Maryland. Fort Detrick, once a major site for U.S. biological weapons research, has a dark history of health and safety violations. Researchers and workers at the facility were exposed to dangerous pathogens, leading to several documented illnesses and deaths. Containment breaches at Fort Detrick have raised serious concerns about the potential for outbreaks. These incidents have underscored the inherent risks associated with biological research, particularly when safety protocols are not strictly followed. The legacy of Fort Detrick's hazardous activities continues to cast a shadow over the facility. Stricter safety protocols and oversight have been implemented, but the memory of past dangers remains vivid. Fort Detrick's story highlights the perilous nature of military research involving biological agents. The risks to health and safety are significant, and the consequences of lapses in containment can be catastrophic. Number 9. Social and cultural disruption. Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The U.S. Naval base at Guantanamo Bay, established in 1903, has long been a source of tension between the United States and Cuba. The acquisition of land for the base involved controversial agreements that displaced local communities and disrupted traditional ways of life. The presence of the base has had a profound impact on Cuban society, contributing to a sense of cultural disruption and loss. The base's role as a detention facility for terrorism suspects has further exacerbated these tensions, drawing international scrutiny and criticism. The ongoing controversy surrounding Guantanamo Bay underscores the broader social and cultural implications of military bases. The base represents a focal point of conflict and disruption, highlighting the complex interplay between military strategy and local communities. Guantanamo Bay serves as a stark reminder of the long-term social and cultural impacts that military installations can have on host nations. The challenges of reconciling military interests with local well-being remain a critical issue. Number 10. International incidents. U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon. In 1983, a suicide bombing targeted the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, killing 63 people, including embassy staff and CIA personnel. This devastating attack was attributed to Hezbollah and had far-reaching implications for U.S. military and diplomatic strategies in the region. The bombing highlighted the vulnerability of U.S. personnel abroad and underscored the dangers associated with maintaining military and diplomatic installations in volatile areas. The incident led to major security overhauls at U.S. embassies and military bases worldwide. The legacy of the Beirut bombing continues to influence U.S. foreign policy and military strategy. The need for heightened security measures and the constant threat of similar attacks remain ever-present concerns for U.S. military planners. The Beirut embassy bombing serves as a poignant example of the international dangers faced by U.S. military bases and diplomatic missions. The impact of such incidents resonates deeply, shaping the security landscape and the approach to protecting U.S. personnel abroad. And that's it from this video. See you in the next one.